Please welcome to the stage the founder of Ambient Strategy, April Dunford.
Hello, good morning. How's everybody? You look great. You've been working out? Shows. Keep it up. Thanks for coming particularly because today my subject is a subject that all product people hate, which is sales. And I work with a lot of tech companies, and generally I'm working with the CEO, and the CEO usually comes from the product side of the house, and there's a lot of complaining about sales. So, like who here thinks sales is hard? Come on, be honest. It's really hard. Product tends to be comfort zone in tech companies. Everybody's complaining how sales is hard. But I don't actually want to talk about that today. What I actually want to do is turn it around a little bit and look at it from the customer's perspective. And I'm going to say something that is maybe a little bit controversial, and that is that I think buying is hard. Buying is hard. Now, sometimes I say that and there's people in the audience and they're like, what are you talking about? That's called shopping. That's fun. Buying is not hard. And I get it. Like, I like buying stuff. I like buying a pair of shoes. I like buying a t-shirt. I like buying a drink at a bar. But when you think about it, there's some things that we buy that are actually really unfun to buy. Like, who likes buying insurance? Nobody, right? And if we think about it, businesses, like most things that get bought for a business, these are incredibly hard things to buy. So I'm going to jump into that a little bit because I think it's important for us as product people to kind of get our heads around this. I'm going to start by telling you a really stupid story, but like just work with me on it. And I swear, and then it comes back to a less stupid story. But this story is called April Buys a Toilet. So I live in Toronto. How's my accent? Good? Yeah? Big. I bought a house. You hear it? Yeah? I bought a house, and Toronto's famous for having old, terrible houses. I bought an old, terrible house. Inside the old, terrible house, the old, terrible bathroom. I hire a guy, he's gonna fix the bathroom. He comes to me, he says, April, you need to go buy a toilet. And I'm like, okay, never bought a toilet before, but how hard can that be? So I go to the toilet store, I walk in, salesperson comes out to me and says, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm here to buy a toilet. And he says, what kind of toilet do you want? And I'm like, the flushy one? And he's like, look, lady, we got a lot of toilets. They're all back there in the back. Go back there, have a look at them. Prices are there, features and stuff. You know, you can go look at it, pick what toilet you want. I'll come back, I'll sell it to you. I'm like, okay, great. So I go to the back, and this is what I see. It's like 100,000 toilets. And they all look the same. Like, they all look identical. There's a weird pink one, okay. But they all look the same. But they're not the same. Like, some of them cost $200 and some of them cost $2,000, and every one has a sticker on it, and there's all these features. There's like trapways and gravity assisted and flappers. I don't know what a flapper is. And so I spend like an hour in there and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not educated enough to buy a toilet. So I got to go home and Google toilets. So here's me, I'm like Googling the toilets, and it turns out toilets are full of technology. Like, they're actually all full of features. There's all kinds of stuff to think about. There's like water efficiency and seat height and single and dual flush technology, and there's freaking flappers and all this other stuff. And like, then I learned the most disgusting thing about toilets. Now I'm going to teach it to you because I can't help but share. There's a thing called the MAP score. That is the maximum amount of solid waste that a toilet can handle in a single flush. 350 to 600 grams is good, but some toilets can handle up to 1,000 grams. That's 2.2 pounds. It's like a little dog. So at this point, I'm like, this is disgusting. My head is full of toilet knowledge that I wish wasn't there. I don't have time to be a toilet expert. I don't want to be a toilet expert. Forget it. You know what? And then I get this great idea. Maybe I don't have to buy a toilet. Because you know what? The old one was working just fine. Like, yeah, it's kind of old, but it flushed. It was fine. You know what? We'll just keep the old one. I don't have to be a toilet expert. We'll just keep using that, renovate the bathroom, and then whenever that thing breaks, I'm going to worry about being a toilet expert then. So what happened there? I spent 3 weeks looking at toilets. I went to the showroom twice. I spent what felt like infinity on the internet. And how many toilets did I buy? 0. I bought 0 toilets. Now, I'm not saying that selling your AI-infused database analytical doodad thing is harder than buying a toilet. Well, yeah, I am. Like, it's way harder than buying a toilet. Like, who are we kidding? It's way, way harder than buying a toilet. So think about it. How does a typical B2B software product gets purchased? Like what happens? Let's take something really easy. Let's take accounting software. So how does accounting software gets bought? Vice, somebody just sells accounting software here? Sucks, man. It's a terrible market. It's so crowded. So anyway, Vice President of Finance wakes up in the morning and they're like, we're doing this audit. It sucks. My accounting software sucks. And it doesn't do the thing. We've outgrown it. Totally sucks. We need to get new accounting software. Does the Vice President of Finance go looking on the internet for accounting software? No. She's busy. They're in the middle of the audit. She goes into the office or whatever. She looks around. She says, you, Joey, go find us some accounting software. Look at what our options are. Come back, make a recommendation. How's Joey feeling? Oh, he's freaking out. He's like, this sucks. He doesn't know anything about accounting software. He uses accounting software. He doesn't know who the players are in accounting software. He doesn't know what the state of the art of accounting software is. He doesn't know what to think about. So what does he do? And like everybody else does, he gets on the internet, he's going to Google it. And what does he find? Oh, 9,000 million accounting software packages. There's a billion of them. He's looking at Gartner quadrants and G2 Crowd. There's 59 companies in the top right corner. He has no idea. Everybody's website says the #1 accounting software. Every single one. So then what happens? So he's got to make a short list. Who knows how he does that? Maybe he clicks on that button on your website that says, give me a demo. Yeah. Then what happens? Well, he's then going to go to the sales rep. Sales rep's going to give him a demo. Who built that demo? You guys, be honest, you guys built that demo. So here's Joey. He's all overwhelmed. He's got a lot of information, but he doesn't know what's what. He gets into the meeting, and what happens? Sales is like, hello, welcome to my wind tunnel of features. There's 59 drop-down menus. I'm clicking on every one, and I'm going to show you every single thing. Here's a feature, here's a feature, here's a feature, here's a feature. Joey's sitting there with his hair blowing back going, and he doesn't know. Does everybody have that feature or just you? What's the point of these features? Should I worry about these features? What's the value these features deliver? Are you guys appropriate for a company my size or not appropriate for a company my size? Does this actually help Joey, this demo? Be honest, it doesn't. What is the easiest, lowest risk decision for Joey to make in this moment? Just like me with the toilet. It's for him to go back to his boss and say, you know what, now's not a good time. Now's not a good time. We're in the middle of the audit, whatever. Wow, who's giving those away at the conference? That's amazing. Glad it didn't hit me. So the easiest decision is to just make no decision at all. Why is Joey freaking out so much? There's consequences to this decision. Maybe he makes a bad choice and he goes to his boss and he says, hey, we should buy this thing. And the boss says, no. We're not buying SAP. Are you nuts? And then he looks like a dummy in front of his boss. Maybe the end users hate it. And the whole accounting department is like, you're the stupid that picked this stupid thing, stupid. Then everybody hates him. Maybe they fail the audit. Maybe he gets fired, right? Doing no decision here is really easy. Just come back to the boss and say, you know what, now's not a good time. Now, you might think that doesn't happen very often, but it turns out the research on this is terrifying. So the research tells us that in B2B, 40 to 60% of B2B purchase processes end in no decision. And when you scratch at that no decision is not a vote for the status quo. In the majority of cases, they get all the way through the sales process, they get to the end, they cannot confidently make a decision that they feel like isn't going to get them into trouble. And so they just throw up their hands and say, no, not going to do it. I'm going to go back to Toilet Town for 1 second, I swear, and then I'm done with toilets. So that's not the end of my toilet story. You know what happened? I went back to the house and I told the contractor, I said, hey, I'm not going to buy a toilet, I'm going to stick with the old one. And the guy says, lady, are you kidding me? It's gone. We ripped it out of there. We recycle them now. It's gone to the big bathroom in the sky. You got to buy a new one. And I'm like, oh shit. So I go back to the toilet store. Guy comes out. He says, can I help you? And I'm like, yes, buddy. It's a toilet emergency. I got to buy a toilet, and I got to buy it today. And I've been looking at toilets for 3 weeks, and I hate this. And he goes, it's really hard to buy a toilet, isn't it? And I said, yeah, man, it's been shit. And he says, we don't use that word here, ma'am. It's solid waste. And I'm like, it's been 3 weeks of solid waste, buddy. Let's get on with it. He goes, look, I get it. It's hard. I'm going to teach you how to buy a toilet. And I said, great. Teach me. Toilet only one. He says, look, there's only 3 things you need to worry about toilets. Quality, aesthetics, space. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. He says, see, all these $200 ones over here, and then there's all these $1,000 ones over here. All those features, flappers, and all that stuff, it's just a measure of quality. These ones are higher quality, last more flushes before you got to fix it. These ones are lower quality. And I'm like, who buys a low quality toilet? And he says, actually, some toilets barely get flushed. It's a spare bedroom. It's a vacation property. He said, you'd be crazy to buy one of those. You buy one of these $200 ones, it's fine. So I never thought about that. Well, this is my main bathroom, so we need the high quality toilet. Fine. Second one's aesthetics. Some people got a certain look they're going for. They want gold toilet or whatever. You're going to pay extra for that. And I said, look, I don't have any toilet fashion requirements. We're going to eliminate those. So we eliminate those. Now we're getting somewhere. And he says, last one's space. Some people got itty bitty little bathroom. So they have these ones where you put the tank in the wall, saves you like 4 or 5 inches. So if you got a little wee space, it fits in there. He says, the problem is if they break, then you got to bust out the wall to fix it. So if you got space, you should pick the other one. I said, I got lots of space, so pick the north. Now we're down with 3 toilets. I'm like, this is amazing. 3 toilets, which one should I pick? And the guy says, look, I got to come clean with you, lady. I actually work at Toto. So I'm going to tell you to pick the Toto toilet, but any of these toilets are fine. You can go research yourself on the internet. Toto toilets, slightly more expensive, way better quality. Everybody loves them, blah, blah. If you just want to pick a toilet and never think about toilets again, until you're on stage at the product conference, then, pick this one. And I said, yeah, okay. So I've been like 10 minutes in and out. Fantastic. What happened there? Was that guy being a pushy salesperson trying to sell me like a used car salesperson? No. Was he giving me a product walkthrough and trying to show me every single feature and explain what all the features are? No. He literally said the word flapper once. What that guy is doing was actually acting like a guide. So he came in there and he gave me a rubric or a way to think about how to put toilets into categories so I could freely pick the one that was the best fit for me. Now, can we do this as software companies? We absolutely can. In fact, we can, but we don't. And the reason we don't is because we think customers don't want that. We think, oh, well, I can't talk about competitors. I'll look like I'm bashing the competition. I can't, the customers have got to make up their own mind on this stuff. But again, the research tells us that's not true. This is from a study that was done with big B2B software purchasers, and they asked them, what do you want in a sales meeting? Number 1 answer, perspectives on the market. All we're doing is talking about ourselves. We're not giving you perspectives on the market. Second one, navigate alternatives. They actually want our opinion on this. So if we want to do that, how can we do better in that first sales pitch? Like, can we create a sales story that's better than just barfing out all the features and letting the customer try to figure it out? The main thing we have to think about here is the job of a first sales call is to help a customer make a decision. We need to be able to answer the question, why pick us over the alternatives? Not why pick us. Why pick us over the alternatives? Interestingly, how do we answer that question? Our positioning answers that question. Our positioning defines who our competitors are, how we're different, what the value is that we can deliver that no one else can, who is our best fit target customer. If we go through a positioning exercise, or even if we don't, you have positioning, whether you worked on it or not, our positioning answers that question. So what we really need to do is look at the positioning and then have a sales pitch that maps to that positioning. Now, if you look at what normally happens inside software companies, they got positioning, marketing's going nuts with it. They're sweating every single little word on the website and all the campaigns and all this stuff. And then you go over to sales and what's happening over there? Nothing. No positioning at all. So can we fix that? In my opinion, we can. I'm going to show you how. So pay attention. This is the meaty part. So In my opinion, a good sales pitch has two pieces. One piece is about the market. How do we fit in amongst all the other alternatives? The other piece is about us. Why pick us over the other guys? So even more specifically, this bit about the market, which I'm calling the setup, starts with our insight into the market. This is, why did we build it this way? And then let's look at all the other alternatives and see what are the pluses and minuses of all the other ways that you could solve the problem. And then let's get agreement with the customer what really good fit looks like for them. And then let's pitch them our stuff. I'll show you a couple examples of this because it doesn't make sense without an example. So here's a company I did some work with, Help Scout. So they're in the customer success space. So they have two big competitive alternatives. They either compete with like help desk software like Zendesk, or they sell to little e-commerce businesses or online businesses. A lot of them start out just using a shared inbox. So those are the two alternatives. What Help Scout has that's really different is their knowledge or understanding of how an e-commerce business works. So in e-commerce businesses, they don't have stores and they don't have salespeople. So customer service is often the only time you ever get to talk to a customer. So their insight into this is customer service is not a cost center. It is a growth driver. If we give people an amazing experience, they buy more from us, they're repeat customers. So we need to think about customer service very differently. And so they do a lot of things that are really, really different from what you would do in a help desk. Let's do before and after. This is what the pitch looked like before we re-architected the pitch. The pitch was a product walkthrough. So they'd be like, okay, here's how we log in. Here's how we get started. They have an interface, looks just like a shared inbox. Look, it's a shared inbox. This is how it works across channels. But we got fancy stuff, so here's how you do a prioritization, assignments, all this fancy help desk stuff, blah, 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 blah. How's that different than a shared inbox? I don't know. Kind of sounds the same as a shared inbox. How's it different than Zendesk? I don't know. A lot of those things Zendesk does too. Why pick you over the other guys? I don't know. Let's contrast it with this. So let's do it my way. So we do it the other way. We start with the insight. Hey, you're here for a demo. We're going to give you a demo. We're going to get there. But before, let's just start. Your e-commerce business, right? We work primarily with e-commerce businesses. We work with thousands of them. Here's the one thing we've noticed. E-commerce business is different. E-commerce, customer success is a growth driver. It's not a cost center. So we actually really care about delivering an amazing customer experience. Would you agree? E-commerce business, they all say, yeah, we would agree. Okay, great. Let's look at how you might solve this problem. We work with a lot of businesses. A lot of them start with a shared inbox. And that's great, cheap, easy to use, easy to get onboarded. And the problem is, once you grow, you need all this extra customer support stuff, assignments, prioritizations, whatever. And then what happens? Well, now you're forced to go to help desk software. Help desk software is great. It has all the features, all the things, assignment prioritization, all that stuff. Downside of it is, one, kind of hard to use. People are going to have to figure out how to use it. And two, it really treats customer service as a cost center. They're trying to drive you to low-cost channels. Your customer is now assigned a ticket number. Like, this is not about delivering an amazing experience. Can we agree that in a perfect world, we would have customer service software designed for the needs of e-commerce businesses? That would be software that's as easy to use as a shared inbox, but does all the bells and whistles of customer service and gives us an amazing customer experience that allows us to grow. Can we agree that's true? That's what we want? The customer says, yeah, well, now I got them. All I got to do is prove how I do that. So I still go into the demo. I just don't barf out every feature. I go in and I say, okay, look, we agreed on 3 things. 1, easy to use as an inbox. Look, we got an inbox just like a shared inbox, and people can use it, no problem. 2, advanced features that let you grow. Here's how we do prioritization, assignments, whatever. 3, delivers an amazing experience. They get to keep their name. They don't have a ticket number. They can pick what channel you interact with. Does this do a better job than barfing out the features of answering the question, why us versus the other guys? Way better job. So it looks like this. I'm going to give you one more example. Oh, if you want to buy a book that teaches you how to do this, you can do that. First book, the orange one, is about how to do positioning. If you think your positioning sucks, I would recommend you start there. If you got decent positioning and just want to jump into a sales pitch thing, you go with the yellow one. Let me give you one more example. So here's a company that I worked with in Toronto, fellow Canadians. They're called Level Jump. They're in the sales enablement space. This is probably worse than accounting. It's terrible. Anybody in sales enablement space? Lucky. Lucky sucks. So many companies, oh my God, it's terrible, terrible, all super crowded. These guys, their big thing is they only have one big differentiated feature. Big differentiated feature is that they're built on top of Salesforce. So what's the value of that? So what? Well, the value is they're the only ones that you do this sales enablement training, and then you can see, did the training improve your sales metrics, because the data's all together. So did it improve time to make quota or time to first deal? That's their big thing. The alternatives are basically a CMS, like there's a whole bunch of solutions out there, but they're basically just a glorified content management system, or a full-blown LMS where you can, design a course and see who took the course and certify people and all this stuff. So again, let's do before and after on the pitch. Before on the pitch looks like this. Here's how you log in. Here's how you get started. Here's how you set up the course material. Here's how the people do training. Blah, blah, blah. Here's how we do it. Here's how we do it. At the very, 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 very end of the pitch, they're like, here's how you measure whether or not it's working. So they sound just like everybody else. Exactly like everybody else. Instead, we redo the pitch, and the pitch looks like this. They're selling to the head of sales enablement at a tech company. They walk in and go, okay, head of sales enablement, we're going to show you the demo. But hang on, before we get there. Sales enablement's important, right? They're like, yeah, dummy, that's my job. Yeah, why is it important? It's important because every day your rep doesn't make quota costs you money. How much money? They got this great slide. I'll show you. Millions of dollars. It's terrible. You actually want sales enablement to be working good. Good. Okay. Well, look, you got choices. You can put this stuff on a shared drive. That's free. That's easy. But if you got more than like 4 salespeople, it's going to drive you nuts. A lot of people we work with go to a CMS, and you can name the companies that are CMSs, but it's a CMS. It's just going to make sure that everybody's got the latest stuff. You want to get really fancy, you can do an LMS, and then you can set a course and people can get certified. Do you know what none of these things do? None of them let you go to your boss and say, this is how I improve time to first deal. This is how I improve time to make quota. So in a perfect world, wouldn't we have a solution where you could go to your boss and prove the value of what you're doing? Head of sales enablement, like what head of sales enablement is going to say no to that? A really crappy one, actually. Like occasionally they'll say, no, actually, no, I don't want them to know because I'm worried it's not working. But 90% of the people are like, yeah, okay. Then I go, great, let me show you how we do that. And we're focused just on our differentiated value. This is the stuff we can do that no one else can, and that's it. This worked very well for these guys, so well that they grew really fast, and then they got acquired by Salesforce, and now everybody's really rich. So this is how it works. To recap, can you believe they have a stock photo that looks like this? I didn't actually go to the toilet store and make the salesman sit on a toilet. So there's a handful of things. I think product has a real role in this. So most of the companies that I've seen, what happens is sales says, hey, product management, make me a demo. And sales like, okay, and they just make a demo that's like a feature expose. So I think if we're going to build something for the sales team, we need to purpose build something that really works to accomplish what the sales team is going to do. If you're going to roll it out, you need to be careful. You cannot just build this thing and then heave it over to the salespeople. You actually need the sales team involved. So the sales team needs to understand why we're telling the story the way we're telling it, and we need to get their feedback on that as we're building it. Secondly, never throw the thing over to the whole sales team. It will die. Salespeople, even if they complain about their current pitch, they're comfortable with the current pitch. They have a little joke they like to tell at this spot, blah, 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 blah. You'll never get people to love it unless you do this. You take one sales rep, you train the one rep, force them to practice it, train, test, and tune it with one rep, ideally your best rep. And then once you get that rep, has a lot of reps doing it, then you ask them, is this better than the old pitch? If they say yes, you run with it. If they say no, you failed and you got to go back and do it again. If they say yes, now I can take that rep and have that rep train everybody else. So now I got sales training sales. This works very well. If it fails, generally it's not the pitch that's bad, it's the positioning that's bad. So some companies will run at this, and what they'll actually discover is their differentiated value is weak, therefore the story is weak, and everything falls apart in sales. If this fails, you need to go back to the positioning, tighten up the positioning, then you tighten up the sales pitch again. And then this thing shouldn't change unless the positioning changes. So new competitor comes into the market, you do a new release of the product that actually changes the value that you can deliver, then you go and change this stuff. Otherwise, it stays the same and we don't touch it. That's it. Thank you. I'm around at the conference all day today, so if you want to ask me some questions, I'll be out at the break and stuff. And thanks.
Get me out of my mind. Can't stop this feeling inside.